understanding this core trauma and what it is and finding it in you. A lot of people don't even realize what it is, and then they feel it and they're like, oh, holy shit. Some people right away, they're in pain and they know what it is. That is key to healing, is to cut all this bullshit and get right to the core root issue. That's what I do. So how does this mess people up? Well, if you feel, for example, one of the number one core trauma most people struggle with is I'm not good enough. We have 3 types of toxic shame. That is number one. I'm not good enough. 90% of people have it at least a little. And 50% of people have it at least moderately severe. I'm not good enough. I'm inadequate. And there's nuance to it. For one person, it may be I'm always falling short. I'm never quite good enough. Another person, it may be I'm supposed to be this thing over here. This is what I'm supposed to be. But I know deep down I'm this other thing. I'm not who I'm supposed to be. I am at my core is not acceptable. It could be I feel like a loser all the time. I feel worthless. Or it could be when I fail, I feel worthless. When I'm rejected, only then. So how does that mess people? What do we see on the surface that messes people up? Well, guys come to me and they're like, I can't approach women. I'm terrified. Okay, well, there's several principles I go by, but this is one of the most important ones you need to understand. Our brain has evolved to motivate us towards pleasure, and above all, to motivate us to avoid pain, including emotional pain. And toxic shame is the most painful emotion we have, by far. So I won't say by far, but it's definitely the most painful emotion.
Extremely painful because people, when
you felt it, man. I mean, we do so much to cover it, right? And when it's uncovered, if you have a lot of it, it sucks. Yeah.
I will tell you guys publicly here that, due to the craziest part was I didn't even think something was wrong with me. And I just thought, in my core, it didn't feel good enough, right? I felt like I just need to fuck more girls. And then when I fucked a bunch of girls, well, these girls are not hot enough and not young enough. So I need to fuck hotter girls, younger, more frequently. They need to be more obedient, right? And you're just constantly trying to take these external things.
I'll feel good enough when this stuff happens.
Yeah, I'll be happy when. No.
And then you became a millionaire and you still felt not good enough. But then we went inside and we got to that core and cleared it out. What happened, man?
Then, to double it down, which is crazy, I'm a millionaire and I have a fuckload of bitches around me and I still feel like it. And I'm just like, okay, I'm fundamentally broken. You're like, I've made all the money. I fucked all the girls and I still, don't get me wrong, I felt good at times. And obviously I had some great confidence about me. But there were times where I'm just like, I do not feel good enough. And it's like, it's like a feeling of despair. It's like a dark feeling deep inside you that nothing can really cure or alleviate. And it's really like psycho. It's really crazy. But
yeah, at that point you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? I made the money, I got the girls. What can I do now? I'm out of bullets.
And the great thing is, though, once we went in there, like I said, November is when we did the most work, you and I.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize this. So I had like this kind of sexual hunger that I thought was natural, right? And I just always had this desire to go out there, hunt, and fuck new girls, right? But after we got this subconscious toxic shame trauma out of me, I really chilled out and I no longer felt that like hunger. And I was like weirded out by it. I was like, maybe I'm just feeling off. So I went out. In November, I had sex with like a bunch of girls.
You didn't need their validation anymore because you already felt good enough.
Yeah, it was weird because the girls were like really good looking girls too.
You sent me some pics. I'm like, God damn it, send her my way. That's okay. I've gotten some good ones too, but you get better still.
It's okay. Things happen.
Don't worry. It's all good. I'm not suffering. Trust me. You've seen some pics of some girls I've been with, but
no, you get some beautiful girls too. But the point I'm trying to make is like these girls were stunningly gorgeous and young and like the textbook girl that came from good families and like just you name it, they had it, and it just no longer fulfilled me. It no longer like gave me that high. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't satisfying anymore because I was already satisfied. And it was weird too because I had this habit that I built up my entire life of going out there and fucking a bunch of girls. Literally been doing it for 35 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not 35 years, but from so lost my virginity when I was
started
17.
At 6.
17, so 18 years. 18 years I'm out there fucking girls, right? My whole life. And suddenly I'm at 35, basically almost 36, and I'm just like, oh wait, like something's different here.
Yeah.
And it was clearing out that trauma, clearing out that neediness to an extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you still like sex, but it's in its proper place now. It's not like obsessively needing it to feel good enough.
Yeah, no, at that point I realized I could only enjoy sex with like women I actually had feelings for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool.
And so the girl that I was dating at the time was the only one I really cared about in November. Mm-hmm. And like, when I was with her, like it was satisfying. And the other girls, they were just like, I don't know, just like eating white rice or like eating plain cornflakes, just nothing
it's like it
really
filled me up, but
it was just sustenance to an extent, but even that word is like, it was just like eating empty calories, it just wasn't, I don't know. And it was kind of
like I got filet mignon at home. Why am I eating this rice?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but the thing is, I think a lot of guys come to this corner of the internet and they think, oh, if I just get girls, then I'm going to feel better.
Yeah.
And then we teach them the skill to fuck a lot of girls, and they go and they fuck a lot of girls, but then they becomes like this kind of toxic cycle where they're like constantly out there dealing with all these damaged women and fucking all these girls, and they're like a vampire that needs to feed. Once like that validation goes down, they need a new girl to make it go back up. You know what I mean? That hunger builds back up.
And eventually it stops working and they have a Rouge V.
Yeah, a Rouge V or Tom Torero or a fucking mystery or whatever the case may be. So it's really, really important that guys understand what's going on inside of them, because even the guys who are not lucky enough and not skilled enough to use women as like their validation point, what do? They regress into porn. Yeah. They regress into prostitution, drug usage, right? MGTOW, black pill, toxic content. Some of these guys evolve into like these toxic content creators, and then they create this echo chamber of toxicity. And it just like, it's funny whenever I see like the black pill guys, like, oh, we got a new black pill hero. I'm like, it's only a matter of time before that fucking group cannibalizes, because they're all toxic, fucked up people, and they can never get their shit together.
And see, there's resentment, anger, and outrage. The red pill rage is in that whole MGTOW black pill movement. And see, here's the thing. Remember, our brain motivates us towards pleasure. Our brain motivates us above all to avoid pain. And toxic shame is the most painful emotion we have. Mm-hmm. Anger is much less painful than toxic shame. So let's cover this shame. I feel like I'm no good. I can't get hot girls. And let's just get angry at them. It's so unfair, and let's stew in that, because that feels better than feeling like a piece of crap who's no good.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, I know I'll become an alcoholic and be drunk all the time so I can't feel it.
Oh, that's
or I'll play video games, or let me go out and just bang lots of girls. Because the thing is, these subconscious traumas, programs like I'm not good enough, that is your baseline. That is how you feel if you have nothing otherwise affecting your mood. You
Right.
go back to that. If you have this messed up stuff in you, that's what you go back to when you just sit in a room and there's nothing to do. You're going to start gravitating back. And that's your baseline. So if that's your baseline and it's terrible and your brain is designed to get you to avoid pain, your brain's going to have you do all this stuff to not feel that. So let's become an alcoholic. Let's view a ton of porn. Let's bang a lot of hot girls. Let's get angry because, hey, anger is better. Anger is empowering.
Mhm.
That's better than it's dirty fuel, but it's way better than feeling I'm not good enough.
Mhm.
And because people are running away from this pain in them, some don't even understand that that's the root of the problems. They're not even connected to it because they're spending all their time disconnecting from it because it hurts.
Yeah.
And so people come to me and they say, oh, I'm terrified of approaching women. Well, why are you terrified? Well, it's always one of two things. I'll ask them these two questions. When's the last time you approached a girl and she said, yeah, she had a boyfriend or she just gave you the cold shoulder? You could tell she was rejecting you. How did it feel? Oh, and I'll get one or two answers. This is people with approach anxiety I'm talking about. They'll either say, I felt terrible that she rejected me. I felt like a loser. I was embarrassed. I felt like a reject because she rejected me. Or they'll say, you know what? It hurt a little, but I actually felt good because I was brave enough to approach her.
Yeah.
So you may ask yourself, well, where's the pain there? Why does he have approach anxiety? If anxiety is our brain seeing we're in a situation that could lead to pain, and our brain, it's just fight or flight. This is the flight. Fight is anger, punch someone in the face. Flight is anxiety or fear, get the hell out of there.
Yep.
And
And
so
it's so true.
when your brain,
I've dated girls that are fight and I've dated girls that are flight, and both are driven. Both are driven by anxiety. But yeah, you're so true. Like the anxiety just looks to confirm itself, even though it's not
avoiding
there.
pain.
Yeah, because they feel like they are traumatized by past situations, and they think like, oh, this situation could potentially lead towards pain. So A, let me get anger, blow the situation up, or B, let me fucking freak out and run away. But yeah, you're totally spot on.
At the heart of it is toxic shame.